Hello, this is the fourth part of our MySQL video tutorial. Here, we want to look at retrieving data from a database table. Retrieving data is fetching the contents of a database table by querying the table using the MySQL select statement. What is the basic syntax? The basic syntax of fetching the content of a table is select star from table name. Select star from table name. There are four simple ways of using select statement. The simple ways of using select statement. Number one, retrieving all the contents of a table. That is all rows and all columns. Number two, retrieving all columns, few rows. That is selected rows. Number four, retrieving all rows, few columns. That is selected columns. Then number four, retrieving few rows, few columns. That is selected rows and selected columns. So we are going to look at this one after the other. The first one, all columns, all rows. We use the command select star from employee. Then when it comes to all columns, few rows, then it depends on what we want. So we have, at least I've given three examples here. Select star from employee where ID equal to 101. Select star from employee where ID is greater than 106. Select star from employee where ID between 103 and 107. Then number three, all rows, few columns. Select employee name, grade from employee. That is, we are selecting the field employee name, the grade from employee table. Then the fourth one is all few rows and a few columns. Option A, select employee name, employee salary, date of join from employee where ID equal to 101. So that is going to return a single row with selected columns. Select employee name, employee salary, date of join from employee where ID between 105 and 109. These are some of the commands we are going to take a look at from the MySQL command prompt. So let's go. From our database name, company, it has been selected, and we are showing the table presently. So we know where we stop in part 3. So we are continuing from, we want to continue from there. So to go with the first selection, all rows and all column. So the command is select star from employee. So this display all the content of the table. So these are all the contents of our table. So all columns, all rows. So all the content of the table will be displayed using the command. Then the next one is retrieving the all columns, few rows. So I can just make use of the command that we have here one after the other to save our time. by pressing enter. So you will observe that it displays all the columns but a single row. So the command is with the use of a where clause, where employee ID equal to 101, where employee ID equal to 101. So the next one is displaying all columns, selected rows but more than one, where ID is greater than 106. So that means it's going to start from the ID, employee ID, that is greater than 106. So what are the employee ID that is greater than 106, 107, 108, 109, 10, and 110? So we have four records, all columns, selected rows. Then we can also check for this, trying to display the records that are in between a specified constraint. Select start from employee where ID between 103 and 107. So if you press enter, it's going to display all the records that are between 103 and 107 inclusive. So this is all columns, selected rows. So the next one we're going to look at is all rows, selected columns. All rows, selected columns. So using, that's the third one. Select employee name, comma, grade from employee. All rows, selected columns. All rows, selected columns. So we have employee name and grade for all the records being retrieved. So the next one we are going to look at is selected rows, selected columns. So the first one, the first example that we have here is going to display selected column of a particular row. Selected column of a particular row. So how many columns do we have here? Employee name, employee salary, date of join, where ID, employee ID equal to 101. So we can also display selected columns, selected row that is more than one. Select employee name, employee salary, date of join from employee where ID between 105 and 109. So we have how many records displayed here? 5 records. Wale, employee name, we have Wale's record, Victor record, Kunle record, Extra record, and Tope record. So these are the simple ways of using select statements. In our next part, we are going to see how to update a database table. Then from there, we also move to modifying the structure of a table. So see you next time. Thank you.